the Attack on Titan anime is finally coming to an end on November 4th. So to build up hype and reminisce on this decade-long journey, I wanted to make some predictions on what would happen in this final episode, and I would also like to talk about my favorite episode thus far. Alright, to make this prediction about this final episode interesting, I would like to describe what I think might happen to each character in this final showdown. And a quick little disclaimer, I did not read the manga, so I do not know what happens to the characters in that, so I just want to predict off of what I think might happen in the anime itself, so yeah. First, let's talk about Falco and how we know he's going to turn into some kind of Falcon Titan that will be able to fly, and then he'll be able to fly him and Annie to the final battle so they can turn the tides of the battle somehow. Next, let's talk about Connie. I think Connie's just going to sacrifice himself to save Falco somehow, because, you know, pay back his debts for basically trying to sacrifice that boy, so I think he's going to try to save Falco somehow, or there's going to be some situation where he's going to save Falco. Reiner, I think he's going to get clapped by Zeke. Since he's holding Zeke down right now, I feel like somehow Zeke's going to turn the tables on him and clap Reiner's cheeks, but we'll see how that turns out. Levi, at some point he's going to finally clap Zeke's cheeks, and in that process I think he's going to die. Alright, Peak, also known as the Car Titan, legit has a freaking dynamite bandolier strapped onto her, so I think she's going to blow herself up to like create an opening to find Eren or get to Eren, so then people can, you know, swoop in there and do what they need to. Alright, let's jump into the juicy stuff. So, as we know, Falco's going to be flying in with his flying Titan, dropping off the freaking Annies, and then I think that'll be the main squad right there. You got Annie, Armin, and Mikasa. Those are going to be the main three that are focused on stopping Eren, while the other people are going to be kind of focused on Zeke, and like doing whatever they can to protect those three to stopping Eren. So at some point, I think Annie's going to get an opening to stop Eren, or do something, you know, to clap his cheeks. And in that moment, Mikasa's friggin' brain's gonna go hog wild, and she's gonna try to stop Annie. You know, it'll be a nice callback to that one episode where she was like, would you stop me if I was trying to kill Eren and whatnot? You know, it'll be a nice callback to that. And in the process of Mikasa trying to stop Annie, I think Armin's gonna get in the way and sacrifice himself for his dang old girl, you know, because that's his girl, you know, he's got buried his memory, he's also spent that time while she was a crystal, and I think he's gonna sacrifice himself to save his girl, and in that process, Mikasa's gonna be like, I just killed my best friend, you know, one of my best friends, and she's gonna finally wake up from whatever madness or protection instinct that she has for Eren, and she's gonna team up with Annie to finally put a stop to him, and after unaliving Eren, I believe Mikasa's just going to, you know, end her own life, because it'll be like that classic romantic thing where, you know, it's like, I cannot live without you, so I must end myself. And that's at least what I think might happen if she ends up killing him. So, yeah. That's pretty much my predictions. Here's all the peeps that I think are gonna live. And I want to be kind of optimistic. I want to chuck my boy Levi in there, even though he's gonna die clapping Zeke's cheeks. Totally not biased to like Levi, but you know, if he lived, that would be awesome. And here's everybody that I think is gonna die. Now, the only one I'm having second thoughts on is Armin, for he could just get seriously injured while protecting Annie and still live. And the reason I think he might live is because Armin is the narrator for Attack on Titan. So if he does survive the rumbling, it would only make sense that he would document what happened, while settling down somewhere, with Annie of course. But that's if he lives. But yeah, that's my prediction. I think it would be definitely crazy if they just killed off the main three from the story. You know, Eren, Armin, and Mikasa. I have no idea if I would like this ending. It all depends on how they do it. Like, I have no idea how they would kill them off. Like, how they show it exactly. So, that's my predictions. Let me know what yours is, or what yours was, if you're watching this after the episode finally drops. So that's basically my predictions for what I think might happen to the characters. So now we could talk about my favorite episodes thus far. So a quick little note. I tried to choose episodes where the whole episode was crazy, like there was just a lot going on, because like Attack on Titan has a lot of memorable moments, and like there's a lot of golden small bits of moments in like each episode that those small moments could make the whole episode, but I wanted to choose episodes where like almost the whole episode was like full of golden moments. And I basically just went with the episodes that are still stuck on my brain. Without further delay, let's talk about my top 4 episodes in the order I rank them. Number 4, the grand finale episodes, part 1. I just really like how they actually showed the destruction of the rumbling, turning cities and living things to rubble, while also burning anything in their range. And the main reason I really love this episode is the Hange scene. For this scene definitely makes up all the slow parts for this episode. First you got her passing her role to Armin, making him the new leader. Then you got our boy Levi sending her off with the frickin' scout salute. Then you get to see Hange clapping these colossal titans, whilst there's this tension in the background of not knowing if they're gonna get the skyboat done in time. So it's just an epic back and forth of not knowing if what she's actually doing is going to help them. Then lastly, her death of bursting into a ball of flames was just a crazy way to go out. And it really hit us in the dang old feels they show her in the afterlife hanging out with our boy Erwin. Other than that godlike scene, you of course got the crazy scene with the final bombing raid, like the last ditch effort to try to stop this rumbling. Then Zeke pops out of thin air to become an anti-aerial defense cannon. And I just love how this episode wraps up nicely to set up for this final episode coming soon. This episode was laid out was amazing. You got the destruction of Titans, you got the sacrifice of Hange, you got this freaking massive beast that you don't even know how to defeat it. Like, you can't defeat it in the air, you can't defeat it on the ground, and so now our boys are on this thing, but how are they gonna stop it? So it just sets up perfectly for the final episode. So we should get nothing but nuts and butts action in this final episode, but of course there's probably gonna be some flashbacks. Number 3, episode 54. This episode's just all around crazy. It starts with Erwin's death charge, then you got Levi clapping Zeke's cheeks, and you know, this was the start of his 3-0 streak. And that makes his 3-0 streak. I mean, 3-1 if you count Zeke blowing him up. But yeah, this was the start of Levi being an absolute animal to Zeke. Then you got the distraction on the Armor Titan with the explosive spears, and Hange swooping in at the last moment so then Mikasa can actually get her opening to blow him up. Then to finish the freaking episode off, you got Armin's self-sacrifice to create an opening on Bertolt, so then Eren can get in there and get him out of there. It's just, this episode was wild. There's so much that happened in this episode. Number 2, episode 78. This episode was just full of a bunch of bait and switches. Like, they bait you in. You think this is gonna happen, but then something else happens. And it just happens so many times in this episode. I'll try to show all the examples I can think of. So the episode starts out with Zeke and Eren getting clapped by the anti-Titan cannon. And with that, you're thinking, oh no, the Marlians are winning. But then here comes the Eldians and the Jaegers to stop them, and it's just a nice little back and forth between the two. And then you also realize that, oh, Zeke's still alive. So now you can scream to change up the playing field even more by adding Titans into the mix. But then he finds out Falco has his spinal fluid, so he wouldn't turn Falco into a Titan, right? Nah, he totally would. Thus throwing Titans into the mix with the battle with the Eldians and the Marlians. Adding these Titans to the mix makes it so Reiner has to also deal with Falco's Titan, making it so you think, oh, Eren should be able to get out now to go connect with Zeke. But then psych, Zeke gets sniped. And with that, you think Reiner's just gonna give himself up to Falco so then he gets the power of the Armor Titan. But then nope, the Jod Titan boy is just like, nope, you can eat me. Thus making Reiner really mad, so he's trying to take out all his anger on Eren. Then Eren's like, ha! You've activated my trap card. Giving Eren an opening to break free, and look at that! Zeke's still alive. So now nothing should be in Eren's way to connect with Zeke. But then Reiner's like, nah, here I come! But then Eren's pal's coming at the last moment, and now you surely think nothing's in Eren's way to connect with Zeke. Alright, that's it. GG boys. He's done. They ain't connected anymore. Psych! And surprisingly, the bait and switching does not stop there. For Eren tells Zeke, nah man, I ain't working with you. I was actually marinating you the whole time. So then he tries to get the powers from Yumiya. And thus we find out that Zeke was actually marinating him! And to top it off, Zeke isn't trapped in this world, but Eren is! And that's why I just love this episode, because the amount of bait switching just keeps you on your toes. Alright, and for my favorite episode in the Attack on Titan series, and that is episode 39. How can you freaking not like this episode? It freaking opens up with Levi freaking shouting Kenny, and like the way he says it in both versions is crazy. Kenny! Gotta give a shout out to my boy Matthew Mercer because he's cool like English dubber. But anyways, you got that freaking cool Kenny scream, and then you got this freaking god tier animation overload of freaking Levi flying through the city. It's crazy. It just makes our boy Levi look like an absolute god, you know, freaking boom, shotgun, boom, fake chair, boom, gets stabbed in the freaking chest. He just throws out all the cards. Just Levi alone makes the episode crazy. But then you have this realization that the humans are not only facing titans and people that can turn into titans, but they also have to face humans with guns. So then you have this cool moment with John and Armin, how Armin saves John, and then later they have this talk with Levi.
Pulled that trigger so easily, without a thought. I'm
a killer, and now that your hands have been soaked in blood, the person you once were is gone for good.
Why would you say that?
And you shouldn't regret it for 1 second. Because if you'd chosen to keep your hands clean, Jean would be a corpse on a cart right now. I'll tell you why you pulled the trigger. Because your comrade was about to die. Armin, everyone on our squad survived today because you got blood on your hands. Thank you.
Just that line like hits to my core, and that is just amazing way to finish the episode for me. Like, what would you do to save somebody that you actually care for? All that, and wrapping up to this final chat with the group, is just the reason I really love this episode. Like, you have this crazy eye animation porn, you know.
Pause.
You have this masterpiece of art with the animation going crazy. But then you also have these relatable moments and like questioning things like, what would you do in that situation? There's just so much that went on in this episode. So that is why it is my top dog. I was thinking one of these other ones was going to be it, but then I just watched this one again and it's just like, nope, this is top dog. No changing my mind. And yeah, that's basically the video. Hopefully that builds up some hype for the freaking final episode. It's either going to be a freaking amazing and be like, or it's going to be really bad. And to be honest, I don't really care. I just am curious on how they're going to end it. I'm just here for the ride because like the ride itself was crazy. And if it just takes a total dip, I'll be sad. But like, it's still crazy how they built up to that point. So we'll see what they actually do. And hopefully this video was somewhat entertaining. And I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye now. My dang old friend named Jacobyyy also made his own predictions and also talked about his favorite episode, so go check it out.